Hey bud, so Halloween's in 9 days and I haven't exactly started my husband's Hiccup costume yet. So it's low-key time to get cracking. Here's the plan. So basically Hiccup's costume can be broken down into 3 different parts: the vest, the gloves, and everything else. I'm thinking that the vest and the gloves are going to be super complicated, so I'm going to start that today, and the rest will be later. This is a starting off point for my husband's costume. Basically, I just got some pleather pants and this brown shirt that I'm going to tailor because it's clearly way too big, and that's it. So the rest I'm going to be making. Let's get started. So to make the vest, I wrapped my husband up in cellophane, and this is his torso.
Wow.
Gorgeous. So I'm going to cut it up, and that'll be my pattern for the vest. After I cut out the pattern pieces, I traced them onto my fake leather fabric I had left over from my costume, and I cut them out as well. Okay, here's the vest so far. It's just pinned.
Shing, sparkle, sparkle.
I think it's going to work. The problem is my husband's at work right now, so I can't just put it on him and make sure it fits. So I'm just gonna trust that I had the measurements right. I might regret this later, but I'm just gonna sew it and cross my fingers and hope it works out. Oops, I blinked and 5 days went by, so I have 4 days left to get this costume done. Oh boy. I got the vest put together, so that's good. But as you can see, there's a lot of adjustments that need to be done. I need to bring the shoulders in a bit because they're flying off my husband's shoulders currently. And under the arms, there's like no space for his arms, so that has to be adjusted. And also the length of the vest, it's too long, so that has to be adjusted. And also, these thingies need to be added to the vest. And then there's other details like, you know, the texture of the vest isn't accurate. My plan is to just get the costume done at this point. It'll all work out. We can do this. So right now I'm going to make those adjustments to the vest and add these babies on. Let's go. I know I said I wasn't going to add any details onto this until later, but I'm just too excited, so I think I'm going to go ahead. And there's this seam here that goes like this on Hiccup's costume, and I just think it's going to elevate it a little bit more. It's not going to take very long. I think it's looking a lot better than it was. Just ignore the inside there. But seams on the outside look better. I changed the stitch I did. I went with just a single stitch instead of this zigzag stitch, and I also changed the color of the thread to a brown, which I didn't know I had until today. So I wish I did know that, because I would have made all this black the same color, but what can you do? So let's continue. So here's the jacket. I'm realizing that this part that I was trying to add the detail for is just a different piece of material, and I don't have that obviously. So what I'm thinking is, if I have time at the end, I will paint this part a different color so then it looks different. So we're moving on to part 2 of this costume, the gloves. And I already got my husband's hand traced, so we can get going on that. Halloween's in 2 days. I lost today because I'm a new mom. What are you gonna do? Things happen. So, I'll just do what I can with the time that I have left. So let's get started on the gloves. Here's what I'm thinking. So the gloves look like they're in 2 layers-ish. There's this black leather, and then there's this brown leather over top, and then the black leather has straps that go over the brown leather. And then the hand bit is its own separate piece. So my plan is to basically make the gloves just one solid piece that my husband can just slip his arm into, and we don't have to worry about straps and everything. And I'll add straps on if I have time / if I can figure it out. Huh. For the gloves, I got Dollarama placemats. It's cheap fake black leather, and I didn't need very much, so I just got these instead of getting a whole thing of material. Let's get to the design. So I'm basically going to make this shape, which should be the under part, It should be enough material. I guess we'll see. That was a poor explanation. Basically, I traced my husband's arm template onto the material. I traced it twice, side by side, and they connected in the middle so that way they could join together like a tube. And then he can just slide his arm into it. And then that way I can add everything on top of the tube, like the brown leather, the straps, etc. I thought the easiest way to attach and reattach everything would be to use Velcro. That way I could easily adjust the gloves to my husband's arm instead of sewing, fixing, fiddling, resewing, etc. Since I was so short on time, I just needed something easy and efficient. Okay, so we have a glove, woohoo, sort of. I need to make the part that attaches to his finger, and for that, I'm just going to use this flannel that I have left over from Toothless and attach that somehow to the finger. Then I'll make my second glove and then do details later because, like I said, I have 2 days left. All right. So since everything was in separate pieces, it was really easy just to take off the top of the glove, make some holes for the straps, and then feed the straps through. They aren't functional at all, but I think adding them made the gloves look so much better anyway, and then I just secured them down with super glue. So tomorrow's Halloween, and I think I've just come to the point of acceptance, the stage of grief, that this costume's just not going to be done in time. And like, that's just how it is. The reality of the situation is that I have a baby and I have to take care of her, and I want to take care of her. She's a priority. So that's just the nature of how it goes. Why am I crying? I think the problem with me is that my expectations for myself are so high, and I gave myself 2 months to get 3 costumes done. I don't think even before I had a baby I could do that. The fact that I got this far is pretty incredible, and I'm just gonna accept that the costume's not gonna be perfect, and like that's just how it's gonna be. So moving forward, I'm gonna make projects that don't have a hard deadline, because then it just makes me feel more free and feels like I can breathe more making projects. And that's what it's all about. This is all about just me enjoying making stuff, not about making things perfect for a certain deadline. So, yeah. Anyway, so basically now I'm on the third step of Hiccup's costume, which is the everything else category, which includes his shoulder armor and the belts around his waist. I have actually bought belts instead of making anything. It's a belt. It's easy. Throw it on. And knee pads, which I'm just going to use the same knee pads I did for my costume, which are just Dollarama pre-made knee pads. Maybe I'll make them a bit cooler, but if I have time. So basically, I'm going to focus on the armor today, and everything else will be details that I'll add at the end if I have time. Let's get back to costume making. So my plan for the shoulder pads is basically do exactly what I did with my costume, which is use pre-made knee pads from the dollar store. The good thing about Hiccups is that they don't go out like mine did, like this. They just sit like this, so the strap that exists on the knee pad will probably work pretty perfectly. So all I'm gonna do really is just add the Hiccup painting detail that's on his one shoulder, and otherwise probably just leave these as is. His are actually smooth, these have texture, but like details, whatever. I'm not fussing. And then there's also a material that looks like it's sitting underneath the shoulder pads that is part of the armor, so I'm probably going to use my fake leather that I have, possibly paint it black. That'll be for underneath. And then there's a strap that goes to the front. Also, we'll use my brown leather, paint it black, and use these fasteners that I have for the buckle in the front. And then that's basically the main details of Hiccup finished. So let's get started. Just like in school, I think I have to say pencils down. I've given it my best shot, and I think it looks pretty good. There's things I would have sewed to make edges look nicer, and there's details I would have added here and there, but it is what it is. Tomorrow's Halloween, and I'm just gonna go with what I got. So, without further ado, here is Hiccup's costume and the rest of my family's costumes all together. Thanks for watching.